Well, hello there. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Hope you are having a wonderful day. My name's Campbell, and today we're going to look at more Strange Realm videos. The world's getting crazy. We're heading to the end of a 9 year, which is basically we're going to tie up all the ends of everything, right? So we've got a fresh beginning for next year, but it's definitely getting pretty strange out there. And I also have to say hello to Cara. How you going, mate? Keep looking for your comments. Well, I haven't found them yet. There's lots to go through, but hello. All right, let's get into it.
Bir taraftan ay doğuyor, diğer taraftan güneş batıyor. Aynı anda güneşin batışı ve ayın doğuşu.
Two suns, what do you reckon? There's been a lot of talk and a lot of videos showing two suns in the last couple of years, and also a lot of talk about the sun simulator, right? And with the sun simulator, how would that work if the sun is 93 million miles away? That doesn't compute in my head. But yeah, what do you think? Are there two suns? Is what's going on? Is there something going on in the sky? We're getting a new sun. And have you seen two suns? Let me know in the comments.
I don't mean to induce any fear because fear is a vibration lowering emotion. But dude, if you go to your phone right now or your calendar on any computer, Microsoft, Windows, Apple, iPhone, and you scroll to 2030, there are no holidays in the calendar after 2030. Now, some people are postulating the end of the world. I'm more thinking 2030 is a pretty big year if you're the Illuminati. You know, they have a lot planned by 2030, namely Agenda 2030. So I went, this is January 2030, and I scrolled and scrolled 2020, 2020, 31, 32, 33. No holidays at all. Some people think this has something to do with the Avatar Project milestones. This is the Moscow New Era for the human century, whatever they call it. Listen to what they have planned, and they've already met a lot of these. 2015 to 2020, they wanted a robotic copy of a human body remotely controlled via BCI. Avatar B. 2020 to 2025, they want an avatar in which a human brain is transplanted at the end of one's life. Now, they may have been doing that in deep underground military bases for a while, but here's where it gets weird. And this is why people are sounding the alarm about artificial intelligence and AI. By 2030 to 2035, they want an avatar with an artificial brain in which a human personality is transferred at the end of one's life. And 2040 to 2045, they want a hologram-like avatar. If you didn't know, the movie The Matrix is a documentary. Their plan for humanity is literally more matrixy than it is right now. And apparently how they get there is AI will take millions of jobs. People will beg for a new economic system because they can't get a job. The solution will be offered, namely universal basic income. Everyone gets enough money to survive, but anything that you're dependent on has control over you. They would need to bring down the current financial system in order to instill the new. You gotta wonder how the natural world all around us is being destroyed by these psychopaths while implementing and creating an artificial world for us to be in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Yes, well, Agenda 2030, and like you said, this isn't about fear, guys. You know, these videos I do are not about fear. It's about being prepared. Be prepared, not scared. Okay, we can't bury our heads in the sand and just pretend this stuff isn't going on. You know, that may have worked, 20, 30 years ago, and you'd still have, a good life to live. But we are at the precipice at the moment. This stuff is coming in. It's all around us, right? AI, bots, robots, and the stuff that's going on with robots is getting pretty dystopian, right? And like you said, movies like The Matrix, Terminator, and so many more, right? Tell us this. And there is this, this thought that they have to tell us. And it's because it's, gets rid of their karma, is kind of the belief on that. I see it a bit differently. I think they need to tell us, but this is all to do with their legal system, maritime law. All right. Like, so when you uh, create affidavits, for instance, an affidavit that you are a living man or woman, you then have to post it in a public forum like a newspaper to basically, gazette it to get it into their legal, framework. You have to let people know. You don't have to then make everyone go and see it. You just have to post it. And I think this is what they're doing in the movies, right? They're letting us know that's their way of posting it and saying, well, we told you what we're doing. You should not have consented if that's not what you wanted. And so this is what we need to do. We need to not consent. But it's a big one, right? We are definitely living in a time that is very significant in the future of the race of men and women. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. They are not us. That's why they're doing this. This is why they really don't like us, right? They treat us as cattle. They call us chattel, right? They are destroying our realm. That they love to say, oh, it's humans. Look what you've done to the planet. Oh my God, you all, you're all into war and that. No, they are destroying the planet. They are into war. This is all corporations. It's not men and women. But yeah, let me know in the comments. What's your plan? Like, what do we do about this, right? Because this needs to be talked about and quickly, right? Time is running out.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah.
Because there is no job, machine, robot is taking over.
That's simply and I want to be clear that these are not things that I think that I wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say, what are we going to do about it? And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary.
Problem, reaction, solution, anyone? This is always the way, as that guy said in the last video. They make a problem, they give us their solution, and then they get the result that they want.
My name is Kim Pate. I'm a senator from here in the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe. It is my privilege, honor, and responsibility to be the sponsor of Bill S-233, which we've just commenced study of in the Senate Standing Committee on Finance. The bill would introduce a framework to develop a guaranteed livable basic income. We are struggling throughout this country with homelessness, food insecurity, poverty, health, mental health issues, and this is one way that we could start to look at these issues.
All right, so they're already implementing it. They're definitely implementing it in the USA as well. No doubt Australia and everywhere, right? But this is also one of the reasons why we're going through this hyperinflation and everything is so expensive. Right? They want us to joinder, right? To contract with them, with the government, right? Those who govern the mental, the mind controllers. And once we do that, then we are under their rule. We consent to it. So this is what they're doing. They are making everything so expensive that even people with good jobs and 2 jobs and 3 jobs still can't survive, right? That's the problem. The reaction is, oh my God, I need help, right? I just need help to get my food and get my somewhere to live, look after my children. Solution, universal basic income.
There's a viral video going around about a flesh-breathing robot named Oscar. Fact-checkers are saying it's just a sci-fi project, but real science is starting to catch up. Researchers already grow living muscle cells onto robot frames like Oscar. Labs are even creating biohybrid machines that move like real creatures. We are entering a world where man tries to imitate the breath of God, creation. And Jesus warned us about this, that in the last days, deception will look alive. Stay alert, because this is the beginning.
We're looking at Oscar, the first human modular prototype that is able to live in various setups. Now what's going to happen is that I'm going to connect the brain to the heart module to activate the blood circulation. Now, the lung is going to start breathing. You can see both organs are now collaborating. I can add a kidney module. And if I add a limb module, I start actuating the organism to move. Now it's looking for the optimal temperature, which is 37 degrees. If I add another limb, Oscar will recognize it and beneficiate from new possibilities.
Researchers are already experimenting with biohybrid robotics, lab-grown tissues in living systems that regenerate and adapt in ways traditional machines never could. The result looks so real, future robots won't be built, but grown. So key words right there. Robots will not be built, but grown. And it's going to make sense right now.
We're looking at Oscar, the first human modular prototype that is able to live in various setups. Connect the brain to the heart module to activate the blood circulation. Now, the lung is going to start breathing. You can see both organs are now collaborating. I can add a kidney module. And if I add a limb module, I start actuating the organism to move. Now it's looking for the optimal temperature, which is 37 degrees. If I add another limb, Oscar will recognize it and beneficiate from new possibilities.
If this is actually true with the technology of them already building robots and now you add flesh to it, if this is the beginning stages that they're showing us with this, who knows what the heck the world is going to be looking like in a couple of years.
Be prepared, not scared. But that is disturbing, to say the least. That's crazy, right? And like I said, they've shown us this in movies like The Terminator, right? Flesh over an endoskeleton. And this is happening. And if we're seeing this now, imagine how far advanced they are. And does this explain all the Holly weirdness, right? All this stuff that we're seeing with celebrities and changing faces and, big hands and weirdness everywhere, right? And I guess the thing is, once you're in, if they do transfer consciousness into a robot, your consciousness, then they own you because it's that they have the copyright, they have the patent on the vehicle that you're going into. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. It's decision time. We've got to do something. We've got to make a stand because this is coming in fast. Like I said, they've told us through the movies. So they act as we've given consent because we haven't stood up and said no because we think it's just a movie, right? Where they're actually showing us what they are planning. And they've also written it down in Agenda 2030. Okay, so that's online. You can go find that and have a read about it all. But this is a plan. And it just makes me wonder, we have all these stories from the past, the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, all this kind of stuff. It's all the same story, right? And genetic engineering, right? The giants breeding with women. In the Anunnaki, more like Enlil and Enki, they basically say they bioengineered us, right? Genetically engineered us. So is this how they've got us is this why they think that they can own us through maritime law? Are we some kind of creation? What do you think? But we just happen to have a soul and they don't. I mean, I know it's an interesting question, right? But still, it doesn't really give us an answer to who are they, right? Why are they different? Why are they soulless and we have a soul? So that could all just be a story, right? Like, predictive programming again, which is getting us to this point that we are created beings. And so we accept more that they're going to try and change that creation. Because in the end, this is what the Elites, like Elon, right? Elon Musk, this is what they want. They want to be gods on earth, but they are not gods, or they are not the creator, right? They are just a dim reflection, a photocopy, a simulation. They are the simulation, and this is the simulation coming in. I don't believe that we're in a simulation. I believe they're bringing it in now. And all the talk about it is just predictive programming. Because clearly, look where we're going. They are trying to bring the simulation in. And, you know, we've just seen it so many times, like Blade Runner, right, with the synthetics. I've thought this for a while, that this whole robot thing is going to end up being organic, right? They will create an organic robot, which is basically, you could argue that that's what we are. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And please, guys, give me a like if you like this content. Share it around. Let people know what is going on. Let's get this out there so we can start to make changes. And of course, subscribe, hit the bell, all that other good stuff, and definitely leave me your comments.
So this government in a couple of days has taken my YouTube off my kid and social media, and he's only 5. So under 16 is getting taken off him, right? And they're like, yeah, but they don't see the bad things on the internet. Meanwhile, a school in Adelaide just got in trouble. Some of the parents are suing the school because I think it's called Headspace, rocked up and started showing the kids at school transgender surgery photos and telling them that they can do it if they want to. So you're going to take away social media, but everything you want to show, you'll push through at school. Fuck me. Hope they sue the living crap out of them. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you believe in. School is to teach you school stuff. Not about genders, not about fucking all that fucking off the shit. The fuck out of here.
Yeah, man, the Trans Am agenda. I've got to be careful what I say, right? You know, this is another, you know, it all gets back to law. The more you look into this and the legal system, because once you give up your name and your gender, you're no longer a man or a woman. And only a man or a woman can live in the private and can control their own destiny, right? If you're buying into this stuff, or, you know, if anyone's buying into this stuff, they're giving up their identity. They're walking in and joindering with the legal system. This is the bigger picture. But also, like you said, today is the 9th when this is being recorded. The 10th, tomorrow, is apparently the date that for Australia, all under 16s will be blocked out of, not social media, right? Just the big ones that us, right? The oldies use, you know, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube. Most of the younger population do not use these platforms, probably YouTube, but the rest of them, they don't. If you ask them, they're for old people. So it's not going to make a difference anyway. And of course, they are not censoring or blocking prawn sites. Like we just heard, that they're going to schools and teaching that. So again, this is all problem, reaction, solution, but it's all BS.
Communities outraged. One concerned pastor tried to read the book at a school board meeting, but officials asked him to stop. Here's what he had to say about that.
If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? You see, we have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs and celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you don't want me to read it so you can hear it.
Reverend John Amanchukwu spoke at that school board meeting, and he joins me now. Reverend, thank you so much for being here. They did not let you talk about the book, but I will. What's in this book?
This book is for children 10 years of age and up. This book is not soft porn, it's hardcore porn. It details explicitly with pornographic images, homosexual sex, lesbian sex, straight sex. It promotes and glorifies masturbation while speaking against religion. If a parent wants to talk about masturbation and be explicit with their children and show them pornographic images, I don't advise it. I don't think it's something that they should do, but that should be something that takes place at home. But when we rob kids of their innocence, we're leading them down a slippery slope. This book is welcomed in the public school system. But if a teacher were to begin to talk from this book, the Bible, everyone would be up in arms. Listen, we are in a bad place in America. America is spiraling downward, and it's time to storm the cockpit. as we talk about gender theory and queer theory and we turn these schools woke, our children are underperforming. Our students aren't reading on grade level. They're not doing math on grade level. Our achievement rates are down. It's time to get back to education and not indoctrination.
This isn't just happening in Asheville, North Carolina, where you spoke. Parents are fighting back against this at schools throughout the nation. We reached out to a number of them. Some wrote back. The Bonnie Eagle School District in Maine, they have this book. They had no comment. Asheville Board of Education, where you spoke, says parents have a right under federal law to inspect all instructional and supplementary materials as part of any applicable federally funded programs. And the Waldorf School in Long Island telling us, quote, the book in question is an optional supplementary resource for parents that has never been used in the classroom. Reverend, is it safe to say that parents cannot let their guard down for 1 second when it comes to what is being taught in their kids' schools?
Yeah, it's true. If you've got young children at home, you cannot let your guard down. And again, this is all to do with joinder, right? If we just accept it, they've told us what's going on. So if we don't refute that and say no, then we've joined with them. So the biggest thing that we can do is get up and say, no, we do not agree. We do not consent, right? Because, you know, the legal system is, you know, it's all just wordplay and spells and all this crap. But the thing is, they have to abide by it as well, right? They have certain rules that they've just made up, but they have to abide by their own rules as well. So this stuff does work. Of course, we're getting to a point where they've basically said that we've agreed to it all, right? They've showed us all in movies and books and TV shows and the lot. But we definitely need to withdraw our consent and refute their claims. And I mean, it's just, this has been going on for decades. It's definitely hyped up since 2020. But, you know, back in the 70s, they were pushing the whole androgynous look, right? You know, David Bowie comes to mind. And then you go into the 80s and all the sitcoms and things, and suddenly all the fathers are these stupid, goofy people, right? And that's when they push women, you know, should be out working jobs and being successful and being the boss woman, right? Instead of looking after their children and raising their children, right? Because that's a whole agenda too, if you didn't know, right? Look into it. Look where the whole equal rights for men and women started. It's all part of the agenda, right? And again, they always put it out as something that will benefit us, and every single time it's the opposite. So we've got to stop believing what they say, right? Being the life or living the life that they want us to, right? Stop believing in them. But yeah, this is a big, you know, it's all coming to a head, right? It's all coming to a head. And I personally believe that there is an energetic shift that we're going through right now. We're switching from a negative polarity to a positive one. And this to me is the pole shift that they keep talking about, right? It's not to do with magnetic north or anything like this. It's to do with a frequency change. And those who are empowered in power are the ones that align with that frequency. So clearly, we're coming out of a world where the negative people were empowered. The Elites, those people that we elect into power, and they build their electronic system and circuit for us to go round and round and round in, right? But we're going into a positive charge where the people who are positive will then be in charge. So I do believe that's happening, but we can't just sit down and trust the plan, right? Like Q told us, don't do anything. We've got it. Just sit on your butt. Trust the plan. Not good advice. We have to fight. We have to stand up. We have to make ourselves heard. And we definitely have to look after our children and grandchildren and make sure that they are not being indoctrinated and programmed with all of this Trans Am agenda. I'll just call it that.
Final experiment, the 24-hour sun test. We all know it isn't what they say it is, we just need the hard proof that sticks. So here's what I'm doing for you. I'm taking their original video, duplicating it, flipping it, and mirroring it. That's it. No effects, no filters, nothing added. Why? Because the mirror method forces out anything that was layered or altered. If something's fake, it shows itself. Instantly. Now watch this. 2 copies side by side. The landscape rotates, the camera rotates, but look at the sun. It doesn't move. It stays locked, dead center, fixed. If that was a real 24-hour capture, the sun would drift with the camera. Don't worry, I know how you Globers like to bitch and complain saying that's not enough evidence. So I made it impossible to ignore. So went ahead and I recreated their sun movement using the same animation they used. And look at what happens. My marker stays locked on their sun the entire time. It doesn't slide, it doesn't drift, it doesn't move across the sky. It just rotates in place while the camera does all the motion for us. That's now 2 clean proofs their 24-hour sun video was filmed in a studio. So here's the bottom line. If a flipped copy of their own footage exposes their sun, and my recreation matches their movement shot for shot, then the question isn't whether they lied. The question is, how many more lies are hiding in plain sight?
Well, there you go. What do you think about that? Do you believe that we're on a ball spinning through space? If so, please leave in the comments your best proof for that. Do you believe that we're a flat plane? Leave me your proofs for that as well, right, in your comments. But it's an interesting one. I actually interviewed the guy who set up this whole final experiment, as they called it. That's on my main channel, Autodidactic. Months ago, I didn't really know a lot about it before then, so I just went into it as an interview, and he actually asked me if I wanted to go down. And then I was speaking with Flat Earth Dave, who you probably all have seen around the place. And he sort of explained to me that don't get involved. This is a psyop, right? There's something going on, something dodgy. So, listen to the advice of your friends, right? So that was good. So I never went down, but Jeren from Jerenism went down with a few other people. Witsit Gets It, I think, was there as well. But Jeren flipped, right? He was one of the biggest flat earth channels on YouTube for like 10 years, and he flipped. So I'm not sure what happened there. Was he a plant? Who knows? Did he get threatened in some way? Who knows? But let me know what you think, because there are reasons that we can't go to Antarctica. And I've actually just met someone who drove the science ships, the Icebreaker, down to Antarctica for 20 years. He worked for them, and he has some very interesting stories. I can't go into it yet because I've got to, talk with him, because obviously, there's things like non-disclosures. I don't want to get him in trouble, basically, right? So that will be coming to light, though, on my main channel, probably, Autodidactic. And we're having a 12-hour stream on the solstice, 21st in Australia, the 20th in other countries, at least it starts on the 20th. And we're going to be discussing this. We're going to be doing part 6 in our podcast series of What is the Ocean and the Fish Gods. Right, so if you want to get in on that conversation and much more other things, right, we're going to have fun, we're going to have quizzes, we're going to have prizes, we're going to have people like Guy Anderson on there, Martin from Flat Earth British, Michelle Gibson, amongst others, and it's going to be awesome. I'll leave the link below if you want to grab tickets, because it is a closed event, so I would love to see you there. But yeah, where are we? What is this realm? Do we even know anything? Because all the information that we apparently know about where we are has basically been given to us, right, by the Elites.
Countries in the Bible and what they are called today. Iran was known in the Bible as Persia. The name was changed in 1935. Iraq was known in the Bible as Babylon. The modern name appeared in 1932. Coming from the ancient region Mesopotamia. Syria was known in the Bible as Aram. The name changed during Roman times around 64 BC. Israel and Palestine were known in the Bible as Canaan. Israel became a state in 1948, Palestine in 1920. Ethiopia and Sudan were known in the Bible as Cush. The name Ethiopia appeared in the 4th century. Sudan received its name in 1956. Libya was known in the Bible as Put. The modern name was introduced in 1934.
Well, the more you know. Did you know that? I knew a few of them, didn't know them all. But this is another way that they change the past and create his story, right? They obfuscate the truth. Like they change all these names. So when we're reading these old stories, we have no reference point. We don't know what they're talking about, where they're talking about. And they do this all the time. And they also love to make, double up on their towns and cities, right? I come from Perth. There's a Perth in Florida. There's also, I think it's in Florida. There's a Melbourne there as well. And all these new, right? Um, like Nova Scotia, right, is New Scotland. New Zealand, right? New South Wales. There's all these things, and it's all just this replication and changing of places. So again, we don't really know where we are, which comes back to the whole shape of where we are and what is this, and the whole we can't go to the Arctic or the Antarctic, right? We're sort of trapped, or at least they get us to believe we are, in this inner circle, Middle Earth, if you want. So, yeah, they've been at this for a long time. At, in my opinion, not as long as they tell us. I'm thinking that most of this is about 300 years old, but they have, we know they've burnt all the books, right? That they don't want. They've burnt all the documents. And that's what the Great Fire of London was in 1666, right? I-666, which is where they got rid of the documents. They introduced maritime law and they created the straw man, right? And they basically call humans monsters, if you want to check out Black's Law Dictionary. So it's a big, big story. And I'll just also just want to mention, yesterday's video was, we talked about the law a bit and got some interesting comments. And look, I don't care really what people believe. It's not my job to change anyone. And even if I wanted to, I can't. You can't change anyone. You can't change what people do or think, but you can influence them. You can give them better questions. And that's what I'm trying to do here. But I just want to say about the law, and, this is definitely the minority I'm speaking to, and who knows, they're probably all bots, right? But basically, if you believe what the government tell you about the legal system, then you are being led down the garden path, because we know that these people, all they know how to do is lie and cheat and steal and do all their other psychopathic deeds, right? With people and children and sacrifice. So if you want to believe what they tell you on any level, then you are being led down a very dark path, because this channel is called Autodidactic. Autodidactic too, right? Autodidactic means to be self-educated. You have to get your own information. You have to make your own decisions, and you can't make your decisions until you have a minimum of 3 different points of view. So self-education is the way forward, in my humble opinion. So don't judge things as right or wrong. All these people getting triggered. If you're getting triggered about anything, that's you. It's got nothing to do with the person who you say triggered you. And the proof of that is you can stand in a circle with 10 people and say something. Some people will get triggered, some people won't. So it's nothing to do with the person giving the information. It's just information. Don't judge it as good or bad, right or wrong, because ultimately we don't know. We've just got to collect more information. We've got to get more reference points on the topic. And as we do that, we will start to make our own conclusions as to whether the information is correct or wrong, right for us or wrong for us. But there you go. That's the end of my little spiel. So guys, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that one. Please do remember, be prepared, not scared. This is not about fear. Fear is just false evidence appearing real, but we are at the precipice. We are at a point where we need to start acting in our power as natural private men and women. So I would implore you to start looking at the law, the law, not the legal system, the law, L-O-R-E, and educate yourself, because it will definitely help you in the coming months and years, right? We have to stand apart from this system and not conjoin with it at all. But please, if you do like this video, give me a like, share it around. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think, good or bad. You know, if you want to disagree, that is your choice, and you should do that because no one gets to tell you what to do, or me, right? And of course, if you're not subscribed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, and you'll be notified of my future uploads. And most importantly, guys, stay awesome because you are. Bye for now.
Sit. Jeez. Are you happy? Show me your smile. Charlie, get in the tub. Charlie, come on. I see you smiling, girl. Are you smiling? If you're happy and you know it, do a smile. If you're happy and you know it, do a smile.
Hey. Hey. Hey.